Hello and welcome, I'm Mystical, this is Mystical Gaming and we are back into Watcher of Realms and we are on a Forerunner server account today, so we can go and have a look at the new gear dungeon that's dropped. So on the top right hand side we can see the information that says gear dungeon. On the bottom right the icon for the raids has now changed to this more bluey purple swirling vortex type scenario going on. Now if we go in there we'll also see that same icon is on gear raids. It's now got left just under 6 days left to run, so it runs for a 7-day period. And then if we go on to it, here at the bottom, Volker there as the boss, all sat nice and pretty, and we can jump into that and have a look at it. So, gear dungeons. What does the blurb say about it? How to play, event time. Gear dungeon opens periodically, so that's down to them how often they're going to open it. Each round lasts for 1 week, so that's a 7-day period. The stages can vary each time the gear dungeon opens, so I assume from that they're going to have a look at the stages where people are stuck, whether it's too difficult or not difficult enough, and sort of adjust from there. So that all seems pretty good, although if it's only open for 1 week I assume people are going to smash it towards the end of the week when they've got their teams up and running and they're as far into the gear dungeon as they can. So the requirements for this: to challenge gear dungeon, you must have cleared stage 18 of gear raid 1, 2 and 3. So if you haven't done that yet, make sure you smash gear raids 1, 2 and 3 stage 18 before this goes live. It's only on the Forerunner server at the moment. I haven't seen any news about when it's coming to global server yet, but I imagine it's not going to be too far behind. So over the next 2 weeks I would try and get this in as quickly as possible. Each challenge to the gear dungeon requires stamina and 1 dungeon key. We'll come on to the dungeon keys in a minute. If the challenge fails or is quit midway, stamina and dungeon keys will be returned. So that's much the same as it normally does with every other sort of gear raid or stage on the game. Everything's returned to you unless you do a successful run, which is nice. 150 dungeon keys will be given each time the gear dungeon opens. Now that's nice, that's sort of a free-to-play marker there. It sort of stops the whales jumping too far ahead by just smashing lots of endgame content in and getting better rewards. That being said, up here are your dungeon keys. On here it says we've got 142 out of the 150. But there is a plus icon beside it. So I assume later on they may be able to sell more dungeon keys. Don't know, have to watch and see on that. I don't overly mind as long as they don't sell too many, I suppose, but the company does have to make money, so if you're free to play and you want a free game, then people have to spend money on it, and if this is one of the ways they're going to do that, then so be it. That's what we have to watch out for. Right, back into the blurb. Rewards. This is what we want. Through Gear Dungeon you can obtain a large number of advanced sets, okay, as well as current dungeon limited rewards. Gearforge materials, dungeon crystals and unidentified gear. So it goes on to break those down. So Gearforge materials including sanguine scrolls and smouldering scales, which can be used via Gear Foundry Forge to forge the latest 6 advanced gear sets. And we'll have a quick look at those before we go as well. Dungeon crystals can be used in the dungeon shop to purchase various items. The shop items refresh each time the dungeon opens. Happy with that. Unidentified gear can be obtained via Gear Foundry Identified to obtain a piece of variant gear. The variant gear has a secondary attributes as powerful as those on the ancient mythic gear and grants a special effect. Only weapons and bangles have their variant counterparts as of now. So I presume the rest, the other 3 slots, will be available at some other point in time, maybe. So let's go and have a look. Stage 1. So you've got to have cleared gear raids 1, 2 and 3, stage 18 before you can attempt this. So look at the drops. So the drops on this at the moment seem to be all the purple sets, although you can also get your dungeon crystals for the shop. So we're going to have a look at the shop. You can get unidentified weapons, so that's where we can go into the foundry and have a look at those, both weapon and bangle, and then it's just either ancient or mythic gear for all of the purple sets. Stage 2 is much the same. Now stage 3 is where it starts to get more interesting. So we now get the forging materials, we get the scrolls that we wanted, although it says it's fabric here and not scrolls, and then we get the scales over there as well. Okay, so happy with that. But we also get more of a mythic piece of identified weapon, as well as the epic piece. Okay, and that's again Bangle and weapon. We also get the spirits as well. But now we're opening up the forge materials. So we've got the 6 sets down here. Let's have a quick look. Wicked Vengeance, 2-piece set, crit damage plus 40%, attack plus 10%. Yep, nice set, no issues there. Light's Grace, healing effect plus 30, nice. Rage regen plus 10, nice. I don't know, would I use it over another set for an HP based healer that gives me HP? I don't know. I'd have to have a look. Depends how quickly it is, I suppose. First of the 3-piece sets, morale. When on the field, all allies deal 4% bonus damage. Does not stack. Well, that's okay, and that's good, because you only need one good set of that, so the chances of getting only one set of it are much higher than trying to equip various heroes with various sets of it. You only need one hero to be on the field with that. And I'd have to look at that to make sure it is on the field and not just in your team when you're deployed. So does that happen when that person actually goes down? I'll have to have a quick check of that later on. Unshakable Will, when deployed, HP 20%, when attacked recovers 5% of max HP, triggered up to 1 time every 5 seconds. Okay, nice little tanky piece there. Hell's Lamont, when the ultimate is triggered, increases damage by 30% and crit damage by 40%, lasting for 8 seconds. That's going to help a lot of people actually start to get the shield down on the guild boss, then, isn't it? And push further into the guild boss. Well, there seems to be plenty of people doing over 50k blood on Nightmare Hard anyway. Tempered Will, again a 3-piece, damage reduction plus 15% for each enemy blocked. Increases defense by 5%, stacks up to 4 times. Okay. So damage reduction of up to 60% there, and defense up by 20%. That'd be a nice little set to test out to see how that actually works. So let's have a look at the shop. Here's the shop. So shop prices. Okay, these are gated depending on how far you've got. Nothing surprising there. So if you're all the way up to 6, you can get Unidentified Bangle. Okay, if you get up to gear rate 6. Auto fights, yeah, okay, they are what they are. Gold bonus, at least it goes in your pack and isn't consumed immediately. Open for a chance to obtain a random mythical gear. Meh. Shard, gear casting hammer. Use 30 to assemble 1, so you can get up to 15 for 300. So you get half of 1 for 300 crystals. There's a full one down here, so I'm assuming, yeah, clear gear rates. Clear stage 4 to unlock that, but that can't be any more than 600 surely, I would have thought. Gear rate 3 would probably be a nice one to unlock. Again, you can get more of the forge materials and you can get unidentified weapon. Random ancient mythical gear chest. Okay, open it for a chance to obtain a random ancient mythic gear. So is it a random mythical gear piece, or is it a chance to obtain a random mythical gear piece? Because if you blow your 2,000 crystals on this, and then you don't get the mythical piece, you'd be quite gutted, wouldn't you? Because you could have 10 over here. Well, you can have a maximum of 5, but for price, you could have 10 over there. So I assume that's not a chance. So by the way it looks and the price it costs, and the fact you can only get one would assume that it is full on, that you're going to get your ancient piece. I mean, obviously you'll still get terrible substats because that's just the way it is. Okay, Dungeon Shop. Dungeon Shop refreshes automatically with each round of Gear Dungeon. Makes sense, so we won't get the same things every time. Commanders can now purchase items with dungeon crystals obtained from dungeon gear in the shop. Yep. High level stages yield more dungeon crystals, all makes sense. The dungeon shop lasts 2 extra days than the gear dungeon. Not completely makes sense, but it lasts 2 days longer. That's always nice. Unused dungeon crystals will be kept for future use. So that is really good then. So you can actually save up your currency. That is nice to see. That's a win there, isn't it? Okay, so if you want to go to the forge, you can either do it on the screen here and go to the forge. That takes us to the forge there directly, or apparently we can, on home screen, go to your champions, gear, and then there's the foundry down there, so we can get to it that way. And then it's got the normal recast stuff, ascendy stuff, identify, and forge. Nothing to forge. Can we identify? Yes. So okay, variant mythical gear, yeah. Variant Night Terror Bangle, crit rate, attack percent, crit damage, attack speed, rage regen, night damage, 3 pieces increase, okay. Woeful Optimism. He must have played Rage Shadow Legends. Increases basic attributes by 5% if not a faction team member. How do the rolls work? Let's have a quick look. Rolls are all good. So thank you very much for your time. Let us know in the comments below you're looking forward to this. How far do you think you get? Have you cleared Gear Ages 1, 2 and 3 stage 18 yet, or are you now busting the gut to actually get those done? This looks brilliant. I do like the way that it's designed, that you'll get gear that will help you get further in this as you progress through levels, so you're not actually stuck. Also, you're getting gear that will help you achieve your Gear Raid 19s as well, so I think it's absolutely brilliant piece of content to be added. That's my view. Let us know yours in the comments below. Thank you very much for your time. I'll see you on the next video, and we'll start having a look at the stages, and we'll see if we can smash through some of them and see how they work out for us. Thank you very much for your time. Thumbs up, subscribe would be helpful, and I'll see you all again in the next video. Cheers then. Goodbye.